We are live. This is the market update. Why is the market so hard to trade? I'll tell you. One of the things that's going on is that there's reactionary moves to headlines. So we're getting the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Oh, great. Oh, wait, we're not. Oh, we're fighting with the Fed. Notice how we go back and forth and back and forth. Now, what does this have to do with altcoins? Ready? Nothing. Nothing. What does it have to do with Bitcoin? Really? Nothing. Now, here's a crazy statement. Ready? What is stopping Ethereum, Solana, and XRP from going totally parabolic once people are done being bearish and people are sitting on their hands? In other words, what happens if everyone comes into the market all at once during the summer? No one in Europe works in August. God bless them. And everybody wants their business wrapped up in the United States because everybody at Wall Street leaves the second week of August, if not sooner. If not sooner. That's where I got my experience. August 3rd, 1990. Everybody went on vacation. Like, let the intern do it. Iraq invades Kuwait on my new screen. No one's around. No one's around. So what happens? What happens if everybody comes in all at once? Like you get a move in Bitcoin. You know, Galaxy Digital sold 80,000 Bitcoin. That didn't move the market at all. You couldn't even tell. Now, maybe they bought it all, or Michael Saylor bought it all, or Uncle Sugar bought it all. What happens when everyone comes in all at once? Like, seriously. And I don't know how long these big cap cryptos can stay so cheap. Bitcoin Cash led the market on the way up last time. The same thing's happening again. The same thing's happening again. So let's get into the news. Okay, so in a sign of the apocalypse, Jeff Bezos has sold $5 billion worth of Amazon stock because, are you ready? He wants to buy the CNBC cable network, which is also the home of MSNBC, which is very far to the left, but he may just want the financial news network. How nice. Now, why does he want that? This is what no one is asking. For the data, right? He wants to know what you're watching. He wants to know what stocks people like. It's all getting fed into Skynet. And he's willing to pay billions of his own money, by the way. He's like, hey, what's $5 billion between friends? Let's get the data. He's not getting enough from the shopping world. That's what it's all about, which is why you have to protect your data. Elon Musk, $16.5 billion chip deal. Notice, I mean, these guys, they're going to build. And that's good for the country. It's good for the world. It is, right? It's going to create jobs. And I actually think ChatGPT and related chatbots, okay, they're going to cause such an increase in productivity. You're going to have to hire people to do work on chatbots because there will be so many things that you can do. I experienced this. It's like there are so many things that I can do with it. There aren't enough hours in the day to do so. And Ray Dalio just recommended a 15% allocation to Bitcoin, which means he's been buying for a while. And as I've said, all these crusty hedge fund end of the world guys are going to have to realize why the Bitcoin white paper was written. It was written for days like today or times like we have when we have to devalue fiat currencies, where we have to express concern about debt problems in a different way. Like central banks hold everything up so that nothing really moves. Like stocks are melting up, most likely because the Fed is running the printing press because they know that the only way to save Powell and the organization is to keep stocks moving. So how does a guy like Ray Dalio and his giant hedge fund make money? Well, I don't know. I guess it could be long stocks, but fiat currencies, meh. Bond markets, meh. Closed, done. So what's the only game in town? It's crypto. And there's a lot more. I mean, once Ray gets a taste of Bitcoin, he's going to want to venture out. That's the real news, right? When these guys make their money, they're going to want to move out. They're going to want to move into other applications. Really, the only guy that doesn't have to move out into crypto allocations is Michael Saylor, because he's moving out into TradFi. He's building a Bitcoin-based interest rate with this. And people have not figured this out yet, that's what this is. Even though it's being stated, it hasn't been traded. I mean, it may not happen today, but you could conceivably have Bitcoin at 250 just based on the fact that it has a functioning interest rate and what's called a yield curve. I know we discussed it yesterday. I know it's a little bit legacy geeky, but you know what? This matters. And believe it or not, the more of it he issues, the better. It's like, for legacy, to have a yield curve, you need a 1 week treasury bill, a 3-month treasury bill, a 1-year treasury bill, a 2-year bond, a 3-year bond, a 5-year bond, a 7-year bond, a 10-year note, and a 30-year bond. Right? And there's even a 20-year somewhere in there. Right? So I don't know. What has he got? 5, 6 of these things? He's going to issue 20 of them. He's going to be his own market in legacy. The 5 biggest Solana moments of 2025 so far. Ready? Hope you're sitting down because you might puke. Okay. Number 5, Radium spins up its own launch pad. Pump.fun announces a token. Wah, wah. Trump launches a meme coin. At the Accelerator conference in May, somebody announced the biggest upgrade ever. But this is the second biggest story on Solana. That's why Solana can't go up. Now, I got a great idea. How about Solana makes its own story? Because if you look at this, you're like, oh my God, I'm not touching this. I'm not touching it. But that's the past. Like whatever happened in the last 6 months, people have recency bias. They think, okay, well, I'll look in the past and I'll go, that's what's going to continue. Instead of looking over here and going, hey, wait a minute. What happens if we go from, the doldrums and garbage to something meaningful, something fast? I was studying Bitcoin history overnight. And do you realize that there were instances in Bitcoin, like say in 2013, where you had like shocking parabolic moves? And this was, of course, over a period of weeks in most of these cases. And now with the case for certain altcoins, I'm just wondering if it can happen in days or like 3 weeks. Like gymnastics at the end of the month. There's always gymnastics at the end of the month. Because hedge funds, by the way, are not making money. Crypto hedge funds are getting smoked. They are, because altcoins stink. And it's like paid to just sit in Bitcoin. So all these hedge funds are losing money. So they may have to adjust their book at the end of the month. And then people have to ask themselves, what are they going to do? Now, what does crypto always do? They get everybody when you're at the beach, on the couch, particularly Americans, right? They get the Americans after the barbecue, after the turkey, where they're watching football, or they're at the beach. This market went up over the weekend, and I just jumped on, did a stream Sunday night. There was no other content. There was no other content. Now, what content is there going to be in August? There isn't going to be any liquidity in the Bitcoin ETF. And if somebody comes in and starts buying Bitcoin, I don't know where the seller comes from, right? Because they all got to buy eventually. And if they get caught again, yeah, it could be nasty. I mean, like, honestly, what's the difference between Solana at 180 and Solana at 250? There really isn't, because it doesn't yet reflect the value that it can create through stable coins, through DPIN, through just, flat out speculation. I mean, they haven't started meme coins yet. We've heard nothing from meme coins. Pepe is dormant, right? Bonk went up and pumped out fund crashed. Like, we've gone from the meme coin super cycle to crickets. The meme coin super cycle wasn't right on Solana, and crickets isn't right either. It isn't. So, watch out in Solana. You can also have one coin markets. In other words, Bitcoin Cash currently is the one coin market. And what's that going to switch to? Well, last time it switched to Bitcoin. This time I could think it switches to Solana. Total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, also known as Total 3, is holding its ground above $1 trillion. I don't want to underestimate altcoins, even though when you look at the market, it seems to be just awful. Okay, at the end of the month, supposedly, the administration is making announcements about something. They say it's the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. If it's not that, there's probably going to be a huge disappointment trade, which I think is a huge dip buying opportunity into August. I think every time you get a red day, because you're looking for that trap, you're looking for them leaning on the market, right? Like Galaxy Digital leaned on the market with $9 billion worth of Bitcoin. And you couldn't even tell. Now, that's probably how good Galaxy is, but someone took down all that stuff. Somebody did. Now, one other reason why the market may be soft is that the orange man's coming down on the Fed and it's getting personal. Okay. There's Jerome Powell's IQ, threats of removal, prosecution. Do you know what I'm saying? It is getting surreal. When you have that kind of clown show with the Fed, that can actually make people in legacy nervous. It's great for crypto philosophically. Okay. But it may not be good for risk assets. I'm just saying, especially if it gets personal and ugly. And for what it's worth, I don't like this idea of prosecuting your political enemies, because that never stops. Like, they prosecute Trump. Trump gets the Russiagate guys. And then, when Trump is gone, it's like right here. Look, they're trying to get Harris. These are the things that happen in like Banana Republic companies, right? A wallet linked to Hashkey Capital deposited $47 million worth of ETH 2 hours ago. Let me ask you something. How many times have we seen? Here's the screen share on this. So Hashkey deposits 12,000 ETH at OKX. Okay. So maybe they're going to sell. Okay. BlackRock be standing down there, take it all. I'm serious. Now, of course, we have seen people moving crypto around to scare people. Most of the time when people are moving crypto around and you can see it, nothing happens. Now, when stuff really goes on is over the counter, where Galaxy Digital is moving $9 billion worth of Bitcoin, and no one ever saw it. No one saw it. Why would they see it? Why would you want to do all that with somebody staring at you? It's insane. Okay, so somebody moved 12,000 ETH. Fine. What did I just get? What did I say about altcoins, right? What did I say about XRP? When the guys who are bullish are selling, I mean, the Jeff Bezos at the high, that's kind of different. But I don't think 3,800 ETH is like, well, it's not 7,000. I mean, if ETH is at 7,000 and somebody's moving 12,000 in ETH, you get to the chopper, right? Not now, not now. Like, it's like every time the market goes down, people give up. And I do like this little news headline here. 80% of the gains come in the last 20% of the cycle. Bitcoin dominance is dropping. And in the end, everything comes back to Bitcoin. This is fact, not opinion. Don't chase trades. Your bags should be packed already. Right? DCA into Bitcoin while doing alts. Now, this idea of the cycle, everyone says is dead. It doesn't matter whether it is or not. What matters is, when do the speculative juices show up? Like, when do people want to bet on a better future, higher prices, memes, AI agents, whatever? Like, when do people want to really gamble? That's when alt season starts. Now, right now, we can't get 3 to 4 up days in a row. And my attitude on that is good. This guy's right. Your bags should be packed. And if you're new or you're not new, right? I mean, you obviously got to have Bitcoin in there. But what about the rest of it? Like, you're going to run all of finance? Where? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, where? Where are you going to run finance? You're going to run it on ETH and Solana. Period. Okay. Here's another thing that I want to fade. Crypto stock outlooks fluctuate after Genius Act. So obviously things like Circle, you can have that. But when you look at crypto equities, there is such a case because people are short them, right? Like, no one likes altcoins. People are selling XRP. They're selling ETH. They're selling Bitcoin. Now, you might say, all right, Bill, well, that sounds kind of bearish. Everybody's selling. Yeah, but the market isn't going down. Like, I remember in 2022, or even in the days of the yen carry trade, where someone would go, boo, and this would go down like 5% or 10%. Everyone's selling, and it's not going anywhere, right? So if they sell and it doesn't go down, what's it going to do? It's going to go up a lot, right? That supply may be distributed into diamond hands. Because I would think if they were going to crush the market, it might have happened already. Like, Metaplanet continues to buy Bitcoin, right? They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. All right, let's welcome who's here. Kevin Hawthorne, first on the stream. Yav, Warmon, MJ Hits, Ben Egert, Dozer, Arendam, Hornet 919, Vitali, what's up? Tyler Hall from the Antivirus Universe, Hal Lopez, not up in the middle of the night, Thomas Chai, Blown Ideas, Glenn, Eric, Random Chips. Monday, here we go. I want to look at the decentralized universe, meaning Uniswap, Aave, real world asset plays that do lending. I think the surveillance state is coming. And it's never been cheaper to get inside crypto. Because if they want to buy CNBC and they want to do all these things, okay, whatever it is they do, it will be watching you. And I continue to think that the Tornado Cash trial, the government rested its case today. Let me back up. So if you don't know what the Tornado Cash trial is, somebody wrote some code so that you could go to the protocol, stick ETH in, and it will come out the other side, and it would be mixed, meaning the ETH on the other side of it would effectively have no trace. You just have ETH sitting there. So obviously people got upset about this. Hackers used it. The developer got arrested. Some people related to Tornado Cash got thrown in jail with no due process. This guy, Roman Storm, the head of it, got a trial in New York, okay, where federal prosecutors went after him. And the government will be resting their case soon, and his defense will begin. And I understand they're calling Chainalysis. So if Chainalysis is defending Roman Storm, I don't see how the government can get him. However, whatever happens in that trial, right? Like if he's not guilty, or however they sort it out, if he's not guilty, it's a massive win for crypto. If they do put irons on him, it shows that Gensler's not gone, that there's still an element within Uncle Sugar's world, right, that doesn't care whether the Trump family is massively long crypto. Now, hopefully he gets a pardon if he's guilty, because I don't think anybody should be guilty for writing code or coming up with a cool protocol. I think it's bullish either way. Now, obviously, if he gets convicted, there will be a downtrade. But has it or has it not paid to buy really bad news? We're having a little bit of trouble, with people paying higher prices, which is why hedge funds are underperforming, which is why alt season comes and goes, right? If you get the nasty dip and it doesn't go down, especially with all this selling, that's the recipe for an August blow off top. Okay, that is short, sweet, to the point. We will see you tomorrow.